everyone, welcome back to Letters to Your Kindergarten Self. I'm your host, Caitlin Follman, and today we're joined by...
Purchase. Dear Kindergarten Purchase. Wow, it's been a long time. I don't think you'd even recognize me. So much has happened since we were 6. I wish I could sit with you on one of those tiny chairs surrounded by crayons and coloring sheets and just talk. You wouldn't believe the adventures you're about to have. Life's been a whirlwind of music, problem solving, and growth in ways we couldn't have imagined. Do you remember those afternoons spent tinkering with Legos or sketching airplanes? That curiosity. Hold on to that. You'll grow up building rockets, conducting a marching band, and even designing a system to keep plants alive when people are away. It's been challenging, but every tiny detail you loved as a kid will guide you to those moments. Speaking of music, let me tell you about the flute. You'll pick it up in middle school, join a marching band, and lead an amazing group of marching banders in your high school years. It'll be hard at first. You might want to quit, but you'll stick with it. That decision will bring you some of your closest friends and memories, and you'll carry those forward. Here's one thing I tell you, it's okay to make mistakes, whether it's missing a note in Carnatic music or struggling in math because life threw you a curveball. You'll learn that what matters isn't perfection, but resilience. Keep asking questions, even when it feels scary, because those questions will lead you to amazing discoveries. As you grow older, friendships will deepen, and responsibilities will pile up. There will be late nights balancing school, music, and college essays. Yeah, you'll write a lot. But the moments of laughter with your band friends, the satisfaction of solving a tough engineering problem, and the look of pride on your little brother's face will all make it worthwhile. Kindergarten Purchase. You're going to do great things. You'll make decisions under pressure, lead people, and chase dreams that stretch to the stars, literally. I can't wait to see where the next 10 years takes us. Take care of yourself. Purchase Softly. P.S. Keep enjoying those paper airplanes. They'll take on a whole new meaning someday.
Yay, thank you so much for sharing. So you talked initially about curiosity, especially when building Legos and things like that. Where did that curiosity initially stem from?
So I remember sitting down, and especially I was a Lego kid, like many kids are, right? So I used to get those Lego, my family used to, through the birthday parties or through other things, I used to get gifted a lot of Lego sets. And initially, when I didn't really follow the diagrams or anything, the schematics, I used to go and combine a lot of Legos. I know some Lego fans out there might be cringing really, really hard right now, but I used to combine Lego sets and make my own creations, right? I was fond of making airplanes through the Legos. I was fond of making spaceships, stuff that basically flies, through a compilation of just different parts and all of that. So I believe that my curiosity truly stemmed from combining a lot of different things to make one thing. And it kind of always just drew me in, just making something that flies. You know?
And so starting high school as well as math, you've gotten into a lot of other activities as well. When did music start playing a role into your life?
Well, truly, I would say, if I were to be honest to myself, it was as, in elementary school. I know at home, music has been a big thing just for my family, right? Every morning, my mom used to put on some Indian song, just the morning, just set the mood, you could say. And so from there, in middle school, I picked up, let's flash back a little bit. I used to live in a suburb 1 hour north of Chicago. And there, the music system basically started in 4th grade. So in 4th grade, I picked up the flute over there, and then I moved to Carmel, Indiana. So, and then here, it starts in 6th grade. So I re-picked the flute again. And so through my middle school years, so 6th through 8th grade, I played the flute. And then even through high school, I'm in our high school's band, and I'm playing the flute. And then in high school, I got deeper into my music association with marching band. Marching band has been one of those things to me that it's almost bittersweet because it takes a lot of hard work, but in the end it pays off I got the opportunity to lead the Carmel Marching Grounds this last year and this year as a drum major. That's been a very, very special experience to me, honestly. Like, when you're a marcher on the field, it's obviously you feel part of something much, much bigger than you. But when you finally see what you're a part of, it's a completely different feeling altogether. Marching band was a thing that I was like, wow, it fulfills my PE2 credit, right?
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it does, and it counts as a sport. As Rigor said, it probably should be
considered a sport.
There are opponents out there who would say no, but
it's a very big debate.
That's a debate for its own. So my initial attraction to it was obviously getting some requirements done for school. But when I got there, I found myself part of something much bigger. And truly, it is a community. It is like a big, big family. And I'm getting goosebumps right as I say that. But just the amount of hard work that we do on and off the field. And I'm a true believer of when you go through challenges with people, or rather, I'll phrase it this way: challenges can divide people, but they can also help us come together. And the resilience that you show in like hard moments, like being out in 90-degree sun with humidity, sweating on your instruments, sweating on the hot pavement. When you can do that with other people, and when you can share those experiences and those challenges, it truly brings you together. And in the end, when we're finally out there on Lucas Oil Stadium performing our final show, which is almost by heart at that point, not a single thought in our mind except just do it, right? Just get it done, just do it. And that communal feeling is truly special. So that's what's kept me.
It's a bond.
It's unexplainable.
What like pushed you to go for a drum major? Because I know it's a really big difference from walking on the field and like rehearsing those steps to then being on that, I guess, platform.
Was actually wanting to stay in marching band. So marching band is a huge commitment. And after my sophomore year, my parents sat me down and they were like, "This is a huge commitment." And it's hard to manage even for them because at that point I couldn't drive, right? So they were like, "You have to make a decision. Do you want to stay, right?" And part of me was like, "Of course I want to stay," because like
you've made so many friends already.
Right. I made so many friends. I put so much time into this, and I've grown as a person. But then there was a factor of, oh, it's such a big time commitment. I'm going into my junior year. It's going to be hard, right? So my parents were like, maybe you should put it aside. Maybe it should be something that you did it. Now it's over.
Yeah.
But I could not take that. No, I was stubborn, and I was like, no, there's no way I can get this up. So I was like, there's only one way that I can stay in the band is to get a leadership position, to become such a big part of the band that I can't leave.
They couldn't say no.
They couldn't say no. So I said, let me apply to be a drum major. As I started writing, so there's an application process. We have to answer 4 prompts, and then there's a little interview that we do. And so as I was writing those 4 prompts, as I started writing, it just came so naturally to me how to answer those prompts, because I realized I'm not even doing this for myself. Initially, it was like, oh, I want to stay in the band. But I realized that I want to be a bigger help than I currently am. I want to do this for the people besides me.
That's really nice.
And that's kind of what I saw myself doing, like getting this opportunity to serve at a larger level.
That's awesome. And then your parents couldn't say no.
They couldn't. And they're very happy now with all I've accomplished.
There you go. Are there any specific areas that you felt like you didn't know maybe where you're going to be in the future, what you're going to study, or have you always felt like you knew what you're going to do?
I was always drawn to STEM fields. I was drawn to like maths and stuff, much more technical. And I was initially in middle school, I took the STEM course that my middle school offered, and I was introduced to many different fields of engineering there. And in doing so, I discovered the flight space subject, you could say, of the STEM course, and that I was truly drawn to that. That was my thing. Like, oh wow, things fly, things come down, things are propelled. But it's much more intricate than that, obviously. And then I came to high school. I got into the engineering program here, which is, it's pretty good. We have really good
nice engineering program.
Yeah, we have really good facilities. So And then as I delved deeper into that area of things, I was like, this thing really harmonizes with me. It really resonates with me. I want to be part of this more. And then what really sealed the deal. So up until this point, I was like, okay, math, science. Okay, now engineering. That's a big thing.
It clicked.
But then what about engineering? Because engineering is a wide topic,
Broad category.
And there's so many different things you can go into. So what do I truly want? What kind of effect? What kind of influence do I want to have on the field of engineering? And how can I use my talents to be good in that field? And then junior year, last year, what I did was the engineering pathway splits into 3 different branches. I chose to go into aerospace, and that class really it solidified for the whole flight thing appealed to me from the beginning. I remember this, at one point in my life, me and my family moved back to India from the United States. I was born here. We moved back for 2-3 years. And I remember we used to live it was a apartment complex kind of, and we had balconies. And we at one point lived on the 14th floor, I think, so pretty high. And me and my little brother always used to throw planes, paper airplanes, off of the balcony and see them fly down. And at the time, it seemed so innocent just to make paper airplanes and fly them. But now that I think back, I was like, that truly inspired everything that came after it. It kind of stemmed from that.
It was so full circle.
Right. Yeah.
And then lastly, what is one piece of advice you would give to your kindergarten self?
Okay. One thing is know your worth. Obviously, when you're faced with challenges, it's easy to view yourself as less than a challenge. And a lot of times in our society especially, we talk about rising to our challenges. But it's also about how we don't always rise to our challenges. We also fall to our systems. I'm boring that quote. That's from another podcast actually. It's not about rising to our systems. It's not about rising to our challenges. It's about falling to our systems, which means that your foundation should be very, very strong. Right? You should know who you are before you get challenged, and
so that way you can face the challenges.
Exactly. And again, I'm doing a lot of quotes, but if you don't tell yourself who you are, if you don't tell the world who you are, it's going to tell you who you are. And you're probably not going to like that person. So for my kindergarten self, know who you are. Ask yourself the hard questions early on. And the more you know yourself, the easier it is to know what you can do, your capabilities, and how many challenges you can overcome. Because I believe that there is no challenge that is that great that, this is really cliche, but there's no challenge that you can't overcome without any hard work. Hard work is always going to be necessary, and the more you learn to accept that it's going to be hard, and the more you learn that I can do this with hard work, obviously with hard work, but at some point I will be able to do this. That's one message that I want to give to my kindergarten self.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. Stay tuned for the next episode.